All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Danila. I'm a host of today's demo pitch. I remind you that demo pitch is a trial pitch dedicated to make sure you're 100% ready to pitch in front of VC funds. Let me introduce you to LATOKEN Investment Committee representative, Jory Chloe and Maxim Uslamin, who will provide you with the practical feedback, highlighting the crucial points investors pay attention to. Let me emphasize two key aspects of a trial pitch session. The first one is timing, the second one is structure. Timing, you have 5 minutes for a pitch session. Time structure, you have to cover 10 aspects of a trial pitch. Company purpose, problem, solution, why no, market size, competition, product, business model, team, and financials. Let me give a word to Nat Salih, who will present his first project to us today. Nat, hello. You ready?
Hi, I'm ready.
Okay, so please share your pitch deck with us.
Sure. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Excellent.
Yeah, we do.
So I'm going to go through my slides quickly. Please stop me if you have any questions. So thank you for the opportunity. I'm going to talk today about our company, Synsal. We are a Silicon Valley company, and I am the founder of the company. So we were recently in the news because of the technology that we invented, and we've been cited in about 150 outlets, including Bloomberg and Yahoo Yahoo Finance. I'm going to cut quickly through the chase and show you the device that we have invented over the past 3 years through our seed fund. It took us $3.5 million to get it to where it is. It's covered by about 7 patents. So if you can see, it's made of a reader. This is a prototype MVP. The go-to market will be smaller, and there's a cartridge. And what our system does is that it's a complete programmable home blood test. You can basically test full panels. Pretty much anything you can do in the lab today, you can program it on our system. Very revolutionary system. So as you can see, there's a cartridge and there is a reader. And for every set of tests, you can program a cartridge for that. And this is a device that would have been great to have this time around during the COVID crisis. I'll talk about that in a minute. So the problem that we solve generally and without the COVID crisis is that 40% of Americans, and this applies mostly also for the rest of the world, 40% of Americans suffer from avoidable lifestyle-induced illnesses. The reason why people continue to suffer is because there is no effective behavior changing solution. And in the process of creating this effective solution, valuable wellness and health data is generated, but now it is owned and monetized by data aggregators. So these two problems are interlinked, and this addresses a total global market of more than $2 trillion and increasing. And of course, part of being well is not to be infected by a pandemic. So it comes in very timely that we also provide a integrated rapid testing solution, which everybody in the world is looking for. So it's very interesting to be in a position where you can claim that your startup offers a solution to the biggest problem in the world. And of course, these underlying health problems span from heart diseases to strokes, diabetes, obesity, and many other problems. Recently, the United Nations categorized the highest, most important 17 problems. Poverty and wellness were top 3. So to be able to address wellness and to some extent generating income from data, basically addressing the largest 3 problems in the world. So the way we solve this problem is through a unique model that we created, and we think this is going to be medicine in the future. It's medicine 2.0. It's something we call qualified quantified wellness. So it's a direct-to-consumer model, the device that you saw. It's a class 1 medical device, so it's exempt from 510 K filing. It's an accurate device, but it's preclinical. As such, we break the silos from medical data, and we are able to run artificial intelligence and analytics. So we're fundamentally compliant with HIPAA because it's the user's data. We call them users, not patients, who manage their data. It's not third party. And insurance reimbursement is not needed. The device is the price of a cell phone, and it pays for itself. The other solution to the problems I mentioned is the holy grail problem of data ownership. So the problem today is who owns the data and who generates the data. And we solve this problem by vertical integration, which means we make the data owners the same as the data generation, the data generators. And finally, we provide the much needed rapid diagnostic solution today that everybody needs to know before they go out to society. Let me talk about this because it's extremely important. So we provide a comprehensive solution for the COVID testing problem. We call it COVID 2X because we're going to need this in 2020 and possibly 2021. We provide a solution that to my knowledge, nobody else does. So we monitor before the outbreak takes place, whether it's actually COVID or another future outbreak. So we monitor for early inflammatory markers. And during the outbreak, we can actually test for the virus itself or any other pathogen. And after the outbreak, we can monitor for serological testing and for what's called the re-entry passport through antibody tests. We can also model herd immunity. So the tests that are needed today, really everywhere in the world, are 4 tests. There are 2 tests for the virus presence itself. One is for the viral RNA, and the other one is for the antigen, the capsule protein, if you will. And the other 2 tests are the antibody tests, including a short-term test called IgM and a long-term test called IgG. And we offer 4 these tests, and they are verified on our system. We verified the virus test with a Zika virus, which is very similar to the COVID virus. So the way we change people's behavior, going back to the underlying and the baseline value proposition, our technology is more effective than behavioral change therapy. So we engage users in measurement, then we rank them, and we gamify them. And finally, when they change their behavior, they get rewarded. And we basically put them in an absorbing Markov chain, and this behavior continues. This also forms a habit to continue to use our technology and order more cartridges. I will talk about the concept of data in a network. So the old model of buying a product, you buy a product as a standalone. Today, products exist in a network. So our hardware actually exists today in a network, and this network is deployed in a blockchain where the data created and owned by the users exists. In 2007, NFX published an article that Google should buy Facebook at any cost because they were predicting that the network effect would take it up to the value that we see today. And we have studied this model carefully, and we designed our network on similar principles. I'll go through this very briefly. So the network effects that are known out there are Smirnov, Metcalfe, and Reed's law. So going in this direction in sensitivity to the number of users. So, for example, we looked at Facebook, LinkedIn, and WhatsApp and how they were scaled in value. So to compare, for example, LinkedIn to our company, we looked at LinkedIn acquisition deal at $26 billion with 100 million users. We analyzed how that model worked. We came up with a value for a single link, and we applied this to our system. We made practical business assumptions of monetizing sets of 50 tests. That's the value of the link that I showed. And with a home device, selling 50 users a day or 50 of these devices a day or adding 50 users a day, each user uses one test a week. And also deploying this technology in a form of a kiosk in malls and schools and corporate parks with 50 tests a day. These are very conservative business assumptions, and using a value per link similar to LinkedIn, and pushing this simulation. This is a mathematical simulation, and looking at the results. The results are amazing. So this is a log scale with time. If we spend the first year building the device and deploy it during the first year, so what we see actually is what is expected from the read effect. Our model is actually special. It's a modified read effect, but indeed through the second year, we start seeing the hockey stick effect. We start seeing massive growth in value. So during the second year, we see a critical mass right here. And through the third year, we actually start seeing the value going up to a unicorn region. So this is what our mathematical model predicts. And this network does not show any congestion or asymptoting, which are important parameters in scaling laws. So again, this is a mathematical model. And our attorney asked us to throw in this. Yes, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yes, we have.
Yes, I can hear you.
10 minutes of pitching. Can you please speed up a bit? Because we have 5 minutes for a pitch.
Sure.
We need to speed up. We double the time.
Sure. These are our financials. We're planning both crowdfunding and a token presale. In the first year, at the ninth month mark, we plan on launching a crowd sale and start enlisting customers. We expect to be in the black during the second year and beyond. So these are milestones. Seed fund was raised starting from 2016. 2019, we had 7 patents and a working MVP. We did 5 assay categorically verified in our system, including the Zika virus, which applies the same way to the COVID-19. We're planning $20 million in equity and token sale. We'd like to be in the market next year and our token sale in 2020. This technology was based on my earlier work in grad school. This work led to our thesis advisor winning the Nobel Prize in 2018, and the system we created is now in Guinness Book. Synsal's technology is the second generation of this version, so a very solid technology background. This is our team, all the technical team, our PhDs, Ivy League, excellent, and we have also a blockchain marketing team. Our advisors are our attorneys and physicians, and also a marketing PR expert. These are our paid partners in design and development, regulatory, legal, 2 partners in blockchain. We are interoperable, and also spin-offs and collaborators. And please feel free to reach out to me with any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Nat. Yeah, let me give a word to LATOKEN Investment Committee. Jory Maxim would like to be the first.
Sure.
Yeah, I can say a couple of things. Hi, Ned. Thank you for the presentation, first of all.
Hi.
It's a very unique product indeed. I've heard actually during my years of university, somebody planning, when you exchange ideas, someone planning to do something similar. But it's great that it's already here. In terms of the pitch, I have 13 minutes. I don't know if your dedicated LATOKEN manager told you that it was going to be a 5-minute slot. Usually on our road shows, that is the format, not usually always. So obviously, the pitch has to change quite a lot because it's more than 100%, almost 150% more than we give. So yeah, I will send you also the structure that Danila mentioned at the beginning of our live transmission, because it's really important. I understand that your product might not be viewed only, of course, as a business. Actually, it's much more than that. And I'm sure that you have, the 13 minutes that you use is not even 1% of the things that you have to say about the product. But still, it's good to have a structure, to know what's happening next, and that is actually what's gonna help you most of all to come to the 5-minute pitch. One thing that I can say that really attracted my attention was the problem slide. The problem slide I would have preferred. I think it would be much more catchy if it was at the beginning. You started with the news headlines and then you went into the product straight away. That kind of left me. I understand that in the industry there are a lot of problems to be solved, but as I'm not an expert in the field, and many people who you're going to be presenting are not experts in the field, starting with the problems, I think is crucial. That is really attracting their attention, and then you can strike them with your product and the solution that you provide. But yeah, everything else, it was a good presentation. If you have the ability to make it a bit more graphic, I would suggest to do so. Financials, I found them to be too crowded. In the time that you present, probably not many people will go through the numbers as you speak, and I would suggest to keep just the key numbers, and that's about it. Yeah, I mean, just the major problem here, is just the timing. I'm just not sure that if you are aware of the format, maybe sometimes it's not quite clear, but yeah, what we utilize is always 5 minute slots. So yeah, I'll ask can I ask who's your LATOKEN manager? Who's your dedicated LATOKEN manager?
Yeah, I'm sorry, say that again, you're breaking.
Can you hear me? I was gonna ask you who's your dedicated LATOKEN manager?
The dedicated LATOKEN manager?
Yeah. Who's in contact with you?
We don't have a dedicated LATOKEN manager. We did connect with a number of individuals through conferences, presentations here in San Francisco and in Los Angeles, but we don't have a dedicated manager. We certainly welcome that, especially with our plans to launch an ICO.
Okay. Yeah, it's just for us to send you maybe more content about what our pool of investors usually appreciate in a presentation, in a pitch, and that would probably help you a little bit in structuring your pitch and keeping the typing right. I don't know if Jory, you want to add anything?
Yeah, just real quick. So the main things you just got to focus about is like basically So take all your slides and kind of just pick and choose what can be quickly said, and then whatever, the additional information, kind of pitch that to investors that will like talk to you afterwards. They're more interested. So just have like key points to drag them in, and then later all that stuff you were saying, kind of push it to them, like all that extra information. Like especially, I mean, I like the news thing, maybe be a little quicker on it. I know that 5 to 7 minutes is like quick, but try to just get key points, and then all this extra stuff, just send it to people that are more interested in your project. Because you're going to have people that aren't interested and people who are. So let's try to lure them in and then give them that extra information later on, I feel like. Just to make it quicker. Other than that, the slides were good. Some text was a little small for me to read, but I mean, that's minuscule things. But other than that, it was good. And I think Maxime kind of said everything else.
And what is the expected price of the product?
The product price follows a model similar to cell phones. So it's the retail market is anywhere between $700 to $1,000 for the home product, and our model suggests a payment plan similar to cell phones. And if the user opts into the data monetization plan, not only they can get the device covered, it's actually a moneymaker.
Mm-hmm.
The cartridges itself go between $5 to $30, depending on the complexity of the test, and that's a remarkably inexpensive price for what's out in the market. It's about 10% of the value that you would pay for in the market today.
Okay, and will you need to buy a license to sell this testing machines? Medical license?
In the US, the level of FDA approval is Class 1 medical device, which is exempt from 510K filing. So no clinical trials are needed. It's a low level FDA approval, like a Fitbit or an Apple Watch. So it goes in very quickly.
Okay, and in the case if the new disease such as COVID-19 appears, will you be able to add this, like you will need to create new cartridges to include this new disease testing in a system, or how does it work?
Well, generally speaking, every test or panel requires a different cartridge. For COVID-19, it depends on which of the 4 tests are needed. The virus test itself, for example, could be a swab, and our cartridge also accepts a bodily fluid like a nasal swab. The other test is a blood test. So a full COVID test, which requires these 4 tests to get a comprehensive picture, probably requires 2 cartridges.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so that will be around, judging by the price fork that you gave to me, that will start from $1,400 till $2,000 for 2 cartridges, right?
Oh no, the cartridge is about $20.
Okay.
You buy a device reader.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Oh.
That was the price of the testing machine itself.
Correct. So you buy a device like a cell phone and you keep it at home. It's a generic reader, and every test, if you're doing an iron test or vitamin D deficiency test or a COVID test, you buy a different cartridge.
Okay. And the matter of price, correct me if I'm wrong, I didn't notice it in the presentation. Did you discuss the price, the final price of the device?
Well, it was buried in the financials slide.
Okay.
So yes, it got buried there. There's a lot to cram about this technology in these slides. So that's one of the challenges that I usually face when the presentation time is on the short side.
Yeah, I mean, the question of the final price for the end user is extremely important, because we need to understand, will the average American or the average citizen of country X be able to buy this product for its own use? That is why I asked this question. Okay.
Correct. And this is why we usually answer by saying it's set at a price point similar to a cell phone. So if people at all ages and income levels are able to acquire a cell phone, they will be able to acquire this device. And this device generates income. So this is an important factor in the pricing structure. So eventually this will be a money-making device. It basically converts our digital assets into income.
Yeah, that's your project is something exceptional, judging by what we've heard in the weeks. Colleagues, what do you think?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, I didn't speak about the product. I was more focused on the pitch and how to make it even more attractive and how to make it, suitable for an online pitch of ours. But yeah, absolutely, the product is unbelievable, and that's why with a few tweaks and maybe, as you were saying, maybe putting the price tag bigger and show only the key financials to keep the viewers focused on what's really important there to know. I guess the challenge for you right now is to, because obviously we're really involved in such a project, there's too many things to say, and it's much easier to add stuff than cut on some information. But that is something that has to be done, and I agree with Jory that following the structure and just making people's curiosity grow will give you the chance for them to reach out to you and then ask all the information about the product, and then you can spend hours and hours explaining it. But yeah, maybe with a few tweaks to the presentation that can be achieved. And yeah, absolutely. No, from the point of view of the product, I mean, it's a pretty revolutionary thing, and yeah, I really hope it's gonna get the exposure it deserves.
And which is extremely interesting that I haven't noticed in a line of previous pitches that we had, is that this is something that is self-paid. So this is something that generating revenue for his household, so to say. And at the same time, you can, you do not need to spend time to go to the hospital to test yourself for just, regular things as people test themselves. For example, especially this is interesting in regards to the COVID-19 that, for example, in Moscow, it's really difficult to test yourself for the COVID-19 if you don't have a particular temperature rate. You will not be able to test if you have this disease or not. In the meantime, if you have this machine, which is self-generating revenue machine, that is something that creates real value for the household, creates real value for you in terms of time effective, and at the same time money effective. And you can sleep well by knowing that you do not have this disease, right?
Correct. And if this is also coupled directly in real time with contact tracing, we can actually create a heat map, so to speak, of where the disease is, who has it. Of course, users have to give permission to release their data because they own their data. And we also can have heat maps of the herd immunity. So and this level of value going back to the user does not exist today. And if we can push this to market as soon as possible, it is truly going to be revolutionary.
Yeah. And one last thing, I guess, still, how can we be sure that people really care about their health so that they will buy this machine? Because that is, on my end, that sounds more like hypothesis that people care so much about health. But sometimes, as any other situations show, people do not so care about their health to spend so much money on the machine of this type. But this is just like a hypothesis to test.
Well, first of all, the market verification that we see today is that even wearables that offer much less value than that, like the Apple Watch, the Samsung Watch, Fitbit to start with, are very popular products, and people pay a lot of money for them. Fitbit's market valuation was over $2.5 billion, despite this limited value that it offers back to users. And this is the price that Google was willing to pay for. So imagine you take this to the next level in terms of the value offered back to users, and make this a moneymaker. And this is how the blockchain, in my opinion, going to enter every household by capturing your digital assets and turning that into a platform where you can monetize that. So people don't have to spend any money. This is, I mean, the incentive to at least own this data, to own this device, is that it's a manifestation of universal basic income. That's not a welfare program, it's a commercial program. So there is a very strong incentive for adoption of this technology in the market.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Nat. So I have nothing to add so far. So thank you for your presentation. So still, the question is, I believe that you said that some of our team members connected you on a conference, right? Was it Blockchain Economic Forum conference, or who was the person? Like, what is the name of the person you are in talks with?
I'm blanking on the name. It's a gentleman from Toronto.
Joseph Azulay?
I'm sorry?
Joseph Azulay?
Yes, Joseph. Yes.
Oh, okay. He's our
we met.
executive. Yeah. All right. Okay. Yeah. So thank you for further details in regards to the pitching in front of VC funds and participating in pitch competition. You can outreach to Joseph Azulay and agree upon the date and time.
Sure. I have his email. I'll reach out to him. And yeah, thank you for the feedback and the opportunity. This was very.
I think that you should take the next step and pitch in front of VCs. I'm sure, because that is something exceptional.
Yeah, we're actively doing that. I'm working on that 24/7. We're getting traction. We're hoping to start collecting investment soon. And as I said, we are planning a crowdfund campaign. So we'll start actually pre-selling the device. We start taking orders, and that would be a market verification of the final product. So that would be very exciting. Looking forward to that. You'll see that in the upcoming few months.
Okay, thank you.
We welcome any leads. We welcome any leads, and I'll reach out to Joseph.
All right. Yeah, agreed. This sounds like a plan. Thank you, everybody, for joining today's sessions.
Great. Thank you for the opportunity.
I wish you a very good day. See
You too. Be safe. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.